Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Zach here bringing you another Walking Dead World Beyond video. And spoiler warning if you guys haven't seen Season 2, Episode 8, Returning Point that just came out on AMC Plus today. So spoiler warning if you guys haven't seen that. And I just want to take a moment and say thank you guys. I've recently hit 50 subscribers on the channel and channel's been doing better than I ever expected. So grateful for that. So thank you guys. And if you guys have seen more than one video but haven't subscribed yet, maybe hit that button. I don't know. That's up to you. Anyways, let's jump right into it. So, this episode was really insane. It started out with a little flashback 2 years ago, and that actually happened to be the scene we seen from the promo where Elizabeth Kublik is talking with Indira. And what ended up happening there is she made this really cool like globe statue that goes out in front of the CRM, the CR, well, outside the research facility. And that was 2 years ago. And basically, that's when Indira's like, I hope you honor the pact because when I'm not here, and she's like, "Why are you going somewhere?" She's like, "Well, I have kidney failure," and this is where we find out Lieutenant Colonel Kublik actually makes that deal with Indira for the dialysis equipment, and like no strings attached and all that. And apparently, not really anyone at the research facility had known about that, is what we found out later in the episode. But that kind of like struck up that little like whole thing of the CRM helping out Indira and like her being able to be there for her kids, the community, and whatsoever. And flashback to present day, we got Will coming back to the perimeter, and this is following the following morning, following day after I think his name was Devin, was killed by the CRM when he was escorting Will to, help break out Felix and all them. And what 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 we remember is right at that is when Devin gave Will this gun that his dad gave him that excuse me, even Indira didn't even know that he had. But he comes back and gives them the news, and there's just like this big heartfelt moment between Indira, her daughter, Will. It's just really sad news, and Indira's feeling guilt about all this. And then we get to finally see a little bit of the rebellion inside the CRM facility come about. And we got Dr. Bennett talking with the other scientists and letting them know like what happened with Omaha and all this and everything that's kind of like the secret priority he's just gotten like more informed about. And he ends up like, I need to know right now, are you guys in? We have a plan in motion. It's happening. Like we got people on the outside, and the people on the outside isn't necessarily the perimeter at this moment. It's Dennis and Silas. And that ends up excuse me, that ends up playing a big part in what ends up happening. But we see Huck gave Dennis and Silas just a little bit of equipment, like some guns and stuff, just a little bit, and that's gonna end up playing a bigger role. But we got Huck like telling Silas, "I know you don't like me, whatever, but you got to trust me. That's the only way this works." And we kind of get like a little glimpse. I actually, yeah, things aren't gonna end up good. We'll talk about that in a moment. But Dennis and Huck are like, maybe we figure out what happens for us after all this if it works, type deal, because they didn't ever get their happy ever after. And pretty soon we're seeing that Hope and what's her name? Hope and Iris. They're getting prepared to leave, but then they kind of catch wind that from Huck because they're gonna start like Jadis is already suspicious of how deep the rod is growing, so they want to use the daughters as leverage against Dr. Bennett. So they're coming for them, and Huck gives them the like, "Hey, we need to go now," and they're like, "Well, we haven't got the cue yet." And she's like, "No, they're coming now. You need to go." So we get the scene where they rush the apartment, but seemingly Hope and Iris get out probably a minute before they end up coming in. And right before that, we had Hope give Dr. Bennett and Felix a couple guns and stuff, what they need to defend themselves. And while Silas and Dennis were on their way to the perimeter, they end up getting slowed down by a herd of walkers, and that's what we've seen in the promo of them hiding behind the bushes and stuff. So it wasn't them hiding from the CRM yet. It was basically them going. They're en route to the perimeter, aka Elton and Will know what's going on. And yeah, so we end up seeing Indira grieving over her son, and she comes clean about how she's gotten help over with the dialysis equipment from the CRM. and talks about how the perimeter isn't safe anymore and they gotta move. What's really crazy is this I remember the whole theory is when Michonne got off the show that they were like or well, when the perimeter was introduced as well, more so then, that maybe Michonne joined this group. Now, however, that group was ginormous, and I don't know how the show's gonna end, but I'm starting to believe it a little bit more. However, the perimeter, from what I've seen in this episode, other episodes, decent sized community, not ginormous though, at least as the population. Unless they're kind of deceiving us with what they show on the screen, but I am starting to believe that that's where Michonne could have went. It's definitely a possibility. But she ends up saying that we need to get out of here, and after I get us to safety to our rendezvous, I'm gonna step down as the chairman leader, or whatever they call the leader of that part of the community. And we get a focus on I can't remember the guy's name, but the one that wanted to like question the integrity of her in a couple episodes ago. He ends up being a mole. It focuses on him during this scene that ends up being a mole. And we got Asha talking to Elton, and basically Elton reminds Asha a lot, or yeah, Asha of Dev, because always questioning things but trying to figure it out. And that's kind of like Elton brings up how like sometimes when you face them, that's when you finally figure it out, like trying to give a little bit of like happiness with Devin before he passed. And what's really crazy is that that kinda ends up being, like, Elton's questioning everything now, but at the end of the episode, something really crazy happens with him, like, kinda figuring it out. But after, Hope and Iris escape before they get into the apartment, she wants to split up, and it's at time unknown. Like this is the first time like the viewers, and they said this in the like insider after the episode. This is the first time like usually the viewers kind of knew what's going on a little bit more than the characters, but now the characters have this plan and we're watching it unfold. We don't have a clue what the plan is. We're just kind of seeing it all happen. We know that they're going to get out. So Hope seamlessly runs off to do something on instinct, but what we later find out is she's purposely getting Mason because they're going to use him as leverage against General Major Beale. Major General Beale. I might have said that backwards in one of the two, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Um, and yeah, so like Jadis is put in the place like she first issued evacuation when they weren't there, so they could try to flush them out. Then eventually that leads to a lockdown, which these guys had prepared for, so they went into that cell, which was reinforced by titanium doors. It's really, really hard to get into, and it would buy them 2 hours. And really what we end up finding out the plan is they're basically breaking a hole into some gold mines that are underneath the facility, and then they use C4 to one kill some CRM soldiers, and two cave in their opening so that they can't be followed through it. Um, and there's just all kinds of crazy things because Mason and Hope have like Hope doesn't want Mason to be injured, but I almost feel like Iris is gonna it's something's gonna end up happening, and there's gonna be like not good blood between them whenever said thing does end up happening. So then the guy from the perimeter ends up instead of like helping spread the word, he ended up dipset into the CRM and was a mole and kind of like spoiled a lot of the plan, even though he doesn't know the whole plan. And then Jadis walks out the room and it's just Huck, and he's like, "Oh, I could tell them about you. Grant me full civilization here, and I won't say anything. You have till they walk back in." And Huck turns around and shoots him, and she makes up some stuff about how he knew about the Omaha, them killing Omaha and all that. So like she was like, "Oh, maybe he's just the dangerous one, not the whole community." And in the meantime, the CRM has already rolled up and gathered everyone up with Will kind of hiding off to the side. And basically she's like trying to say like, well, maybe the perimeter ain't that bad of a like they've helped us out. She's like trying to, play the other side. But Jadis shows like this appreciation for Indira and her community of art because like Jadis was also an art fan when she was part of the junkyard and when she led the junkyard. And she like referenced that statue that she made in the beginning of the episode and said it was really cool and she understands how hard it is to do work like that. But she was basically like, bigger civilizations take over other ones. That's just kind of how it works, especially when they don't see the world for what it is. And as she gives them the signal to fire, there's the countdown, and the lieutenant out there is getting ready to do it. And all of a sudden, Will fires the shot, saves him, and he's like kind of doing his thing. All of a sudden, he's getting in trouble. All of a sudden, Dennis and Silas show up, and help out, and pretty soon with enough soldiers dead, Indira and a few other people are able to grab guns, and Dennis is giving fake comms on the walkie, like telling them to fall back and this and that. Ended up getting them out of there, giving them a little bit of time of safety. And but in the meantime, Dennis was shot before he could let Will know what the plan is, and I don't think Silas knows exactly what the plan is either, at least the way I'm perceiving how like the scene went. It didn't seem like it anyways. And so we get the little cliffhanger. We know Dennis is shot in the stomach. We don't know how fatal it is, but that would really suck if Huck is to get her happy ever after. And she even said that to Felix, like how she hopes that she can even get a chance to have the happy ever after Felix and Dr. Bennett. So I'm really wondering about that. I actually like the character of Dennis because Dennis and Silas were like kind of debating like what needed to be done, but he didn't know about Omaha, and he was sad that Silas didn't tell him. And there was a weird dynamic there where it seemed like they were kind of on the same page, but kind of still butting heads. But then, so they're able to start opening the door to that research lab, and as they open it, the C4 blows off and no one's in there, and that's where Jadis kind of figures it out. Like, so they got the scientists out of there, they wiped all the memory, they're taking this memory away from the CR, this like everything that they've worked. She's basically referencing it as the second end, like, so yeah, it's really crazy. So she's really bought into this, but it's crazy. I don't know. It's just really crazy. It's really gearing up. I don't know how much more reference we get to Rick other than maybe like a little post-credit thing or whatever. I don't know. But the series is really gearing up for it to end at the end. I think it's really on a high. These last few episodes, ever since like episode 5, has really picked up the pace, and each episode is not really letting up the pace. They're doing a really good job at getting people actually interested in it, and now I've been enjoying it. And anything more we can learn about Rick or bring in from the Rick movie, which I really do think when it comes to the Talking Dead on the finale night of The World Beyond, I do believe Gimple will be on there. I would be surprised if he isn't, and we should get some sort of news. That'd be what we're looking for, you know. So, anyways, let me know what you guys thought about the episode. I thought it was really good. I'm really excited for the last two. The promo was a little bit longer and had like the next two episodes thing. So I'll be breaking that down in a separate video, probably out on Monday or Tuesday. So we'll catch you guys in that. Subscribe so you guys know when it comes out. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and have a great day. Peace.